It's not a glorious thing, but China is not going to deviate from its 2025 plans for the United States. The frictions will continue. I think the midterm elections will probably make Trump more extreme rather than less extreme on the things like trade and immigration, which he can control and do damage on. But the Chinese are not going to kowtow, and they will probably weather the storm, but at a growth rate which is more akin to 5.5% to 6% than, the old days of 10, 12%. That's over.
I want to touch on the way the Chinese economy is run, and again, we're going to constantly refer to your book throughout. So, but it's all in there, exactly. But other nations who have embraced markets more heartily over the years have managed to not buck the recessionary trend and have had huge downticks as well. Is there anything the Chinese are doing at the moment that can actually successfully create a soft landing, or actually is it inevitable that they will struggle regardless?
Well, struggle they will, of course, because, you're getting hit on a huge success story for the Chinese economy, which is exports. But the exports have sunk from 34% of GDP to 20% of GDP. They don't have a current account surplus worth talking about. They don't want to be a country which grows on the back of exporting more to other countries than they import. What is going to drive the success or failure of what they're going to do, and I think it will be successful, is that they are really driving the economy through the adaptation and adoption of high technology. And the reason they're doing that is because, of course, they have terrible demography. So they have to replace people with robots. And they're successfully doing that at a rate of knots. That's a driver of the economy. The fact that they're giving people the best online shopping experience in the world, and I know because I use it, I live there, is a driver of the economy, because it liberates part of all this massive household savings rates, which were kept because people didn't really have a safe career. Now they're finding the safe careers in this kind of area of economic freedoms, research freedoms, technology freedoms, which Xi has set up. Now, around that green meadow of freedoms, which is driving the conversion of China from being an investment-led economy to actually being a consumer and services-led economy, around that green meadow where people are wandering around pushing prams with more than one baby in it and plugs in their ears, are prison walls. Those prison walls apply. If you put your political foot outside of that beautiful green meadow, you're gone, just like a piece out of a jigsaw puzzle, and it's Saranaya. So, will that work? Yes. Why? Because it's delivering the increases in living standards. It's giving the Chinese government the technology, not only to boost the technology, to boost productivity, but to give them total control. Because if I use my Alibaba, my WeChat Pay card, my Alipay card, which you have to when you go to Shenzhen to do the week shopping because there is no cash, then the Chinese government knows everything about you. So essentially, they use that information about you to control you, and they use that information about you to actually garner what they need to know about your concerns, whether it's pollution or whatever. They're very sensitive to handling the concerns of the masses. So it's a social model which is totally different. Instead of being driven in a Marxist sense by the Chinese government owning the biggest steel mill, it is driven by the fact that the Chinese government owns the technology to drive it.